10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, my fellow freedom love sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3-Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful realms of planet Earth. Today's date is Sunday, October 19th, 2025. This is episode 1909. Social media spies exposed and biometrics get AI lift. Before I proceed, you can find me on multiple social media sites and podcast channels. Just type in Looky Luck number 3, Looky Luck Roman number 3, 3 eyes, or Looky Luck Roman number 3 podcast. Furthermore, if you have any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. Hit me via email to ll3.podcast@proton.me. If you want to donate, go to paypal.me or cash.app/Looky Luck number 3. If you want to follow me on Steemit, give me a little crypto love there. I'm at LL number 3-podcast. I just found this out last night on the bassist from Limp Bizkit, Sam Rivers, passed at 48. I was never a fan of their music. However, they did make waves in the Florida music scene, even including Jacksonville. And even a lot of Southern rock bands came from that area too. So it's just very disheartening, and condolences to the band, the fans, the families, and so forth. And it's just I had to look into some of the other information on him. Looks like he had some stuff in the past about alcohol and drug abuse, according to some reports. But it's too damn young to pass, and hopefully hopefully it's not the COVID jab either, because I know a lot of people have been passing around those ages and younger since he took that shot. And of course, life insurance claims just skyrocketed around the world. And of course, in the United States, look up the IndyStar, and IndyStar did a report on that. Very chilling, but it is a shame, regardless, because a lot of musicians are passing, and a lot of others as well. Well, may so be forever free. And all you fans out there, pay homage as well. But I was checking out the whole No More Kings rally. They even had one in Mexico. Shut up. It is so comical. They've been exposed, big funded. It's not grassroots. It's totally fraudulent as far as I'm concerned. They should have did a rally on no digital ID, which he had in England. I saw a report on that from World Alternative Media. Josh, he does a good job, and David Icke was spearheading it. I always admire David Icke's work too. And we actually follow each other on Twitter, for goodness sakes. I didn't even know till years ago. But oh, cool. So I'm doing something right. But that is the bigger picture, my friends, and it's happening around the world. There's even reports that even Ron DeSantis wants to do digital ID for children, allegedly. Okay, I'll be very fair. If that's the case, he's a hypocrite, because he did call out the prime minister about how digital ID is dangerous, invasion of right of privacy. But if you want to support that, you're a fool. And I do remember him as a congressman voting on technocratic bills such as the National Surveillance NCA, funding them and funding the World Bank. So he's this very streaky character. So one person calls him an elected prince. I never met the man, so I can't really say. However, based on what he signs and what he votes, based on his actions, you have the right to call him out. That's why I always tell people, you're going to be critical, have merit, have your facts, instead of being a parrot. That's why even with Donald Trump, he has a bunch of fools with him also. It's nothing new under the sun. So if you get rid of him, oh, we're free. Nope, you're screwed time and time again, because remember all those folks out there that supported Biden He couldn't even wipe his own butt. I know he was his mental health was horrible, but as a politician, he was heinous. Okay, if you think he was a great man as a political leader, I got palm trees to sell you on Pluto. That's all I have to say on that matter. But it's just sometimes it's real comical when you have the mainstream garbage media want to push this is great. Samuel Adams would be proud. No, he's rolling in his grave right now. You have to do it for true liberty. Don't support these synthetic movements, okay? They're awful, stupid, and lousy. People start doing their own damn homework and be a true activist, all right? Be organic, have your ammunition, not what the stupid mainstream media has to say, even the alternative too. Have your facts on his face. Prima facie just cause. Well, I'm not going to be ranting on that anymore. I'll be reading here. Came from the Activist Post, came out yesterday. And this is from the Mint Press report. It says here, social media spies expose, profiles vanish after Mint Press report. And who wrote this? I'll find out. Oh, Alan McLeod wrote this. After being exposed as former national security state agents by Mint Press, large numbers of officials working in the highest levels of top social media platforms have deleted their profiles or wiped the incriminating evidence from the internet. A series of Mint-Free Press investigations uncovered a network of hundreds of former agents of the CIA, FBI, and the other three-letter agencies, as well as the high State Department and NATO officials working at social media giants such as Facebook, Google, TikTok, and Twitter. These individuals are overwhelmingly concentrated in politically sensitive departments such as trust and safety, security, and content moderation, meaning that these ex-spies and intelligence officials are helping to influence what billions of people around the world see, read, and hear, decide who is promoted and who is suppressed. Yay! Ain't that great? I want them to think for me. Bum, bum. I'll continue on. Once this information was made public by Mint Press, it caused a stir being picked up by larger outlets, going viral online, and even being used as evidence in a congressional hearing. Delete your account. Many of the individuals profiled by Mint Press have deleted the accounts and pages we use to expose their past. Others have simply removed the incriminating evidence from their biographies. A prime example of this is Aaron Berman. Berman is a content policy global lead at Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. In his own words, this role makes him the head of the team that writes the rules for Facebook, determining what is acceptable and what is not. For the platform, 3.1 billion users, he appears in numerous official Meta videos as the face of its global content moderation policy. Aaron Berman is a CIA agent, or at least he was until July 2029, when he left this post as senior analytic manager at the agency to become senior product policy manager for misinformation at Meta. A 15-year CIA veteran, Berman rose through the ranks of the agency to become one of its highest-ranking officials, being chosen to write the presidential daily brief for both Obama and Trump. One moment, folks. Okay, my dog's running around here, so forgive me here. Since Mint Press made this information public, Berman has deleted his LinkedIn and Twitter accounts. He has since created a more anonymous LinkedIn profile, which does not feature either a picture or his surname, although it does note that among his professional skills are fluency in the Arabic language, a fact that raises even more questions about his past in the Central Intelligence Agency. Berman is far from an isolated example of a former deep state official turned social media manager wiping this information from the net. Others who have deleted their accounts include Dawn Burton, who in 2019 left a position as Senior Innovation Advisor to the Director at the FBI to become Senior Director of Strategy and Operations for Legal, Public Policy, Trust, and Safety at Twitter. Jeff Carlton, a 14-year Marine Corps commander and a longtime intelligence analyst with both the CIA and FBI, who in May 2021 left the government to be parachuted into Twitter as a senior program manager for trust and safety. Haley Chang, the former deputy general counsel of the Department of Homeland and Security and a deputy assistant director of the FBI who left the bureau to become a director and associate general counsel for Meta, working on cybersecurity and investigations. Joey Chan, who in 2021, I went too far here, in 2021 left the position as the commander of the U.S. Army to become trust and safety program at Meta. Ellen Nixon, a former FBI agent turned Facebook threat investigation manager. Charlie Y, another former FBI agent, worked as policy domain specialist for Twitter. Ain't it beautiful, folks? Yeah, I want the Orwellian agents spy on my stuff, right? Oh my goodness. It is comical, right? CIA, go away. Individuals, of course, delete their personal accounts all the time for a wide range of reasons. It could, therefore, be argued that a large number of national security state officials removing their personal information from the internet is entirely innocent and unrelated to the increased public scrutiny they receive. But with others who have only removed information about their past in an attempt to hide their connection to the national security state, the case is undebatable. One example of this is Greg Anderson, who, until 2019, according to his LinkedIn profile, worked on psychological operations and soldier system lethality for NATO. He left the military alliance to become a policy specialist at Twitter before moving to TikTok in 2021, where he's currently a product policy manager. This alarming career path was first highlighted by Mint Press low key in a 2022 tweet after the post went viral. Anderson removed the information about psychological operations from his profile, and once Mint Press published our investigation, NATO, the TikTok pipeline. Why is TikTok employing so many national security agents? He deleted all mentions of NATO. There is now a jarring 2-year employment gap on the Irishman's resume between his employment with the Scouts and working for Twitter. Another example of the phenomenon of quietly deleting incriminating evidence is Brian Reisbard. Reisbard's public profiles were used as evidence in 2 Mint Press news investigations. National security search engine Google ranks are filled with CIA agents, and meet the ex-CIA agents deciding Facebook's content plan. His LinkedIn profile boasted that between 2006 and 2010, he was a CIA intelligence officer leading the global team to conduct counterterrorism and digital cyber investigations and identifying online social media misinformation, propaganda, and covert influence campaigns. He then crossed the diaphanous line into the State Department, becoming a Foreign Service officer. In 2015, however, he was parachuted into Twitter, where he was appointed director of online safety operations, security analysis, and investigations. Reisbard stayed at Twitter for 4 years and later became trust and safety director for YouTube, leading global teams designing and enforcing the platform's content moderation policies. Between 2021 and 2025, he was director of product management for Meta. I wonder why. I can say you, Mr. Reisbard, can be responsible for removing my episodes on YouTube. I'll continue on. After this was publicized, however, Reisbard wiped all mention of the CIA and State Department from his profile, and now simply reads that between 2006 and 2015, he was employed by the United States federal government as an officer. where he held several senior leadership positions in the U.S. government intelligence community. How nice is that? Propaganda war. What the story highlights is that social media is not a neutral global town square, but rather a battleground being silently fought over. Over the past decade, the U.S. national security state has infiltrated major social media platforms in a successful attempt to manipulate the public debate and influence what the world sees and does not see. This influence operation dwarfs any schemes of which official enemy nations are accused. The U.S. has used this power to shut out opposing opinions from the global public sphere. Hundreds of thousands of Russian, Chinese, and Iranian accounts have been deleted from Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. It has also attempted to use this power to attempt regime change. YouTube account of Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro was deleted by Google, while Elon Musk's Twitter de-recognized him as a rightful president. And just days before the 2021 election in Nicaragua, Facebook removed the pages of dozens of media outlets and activists supporting the left-wing Sandinista party in an attempt to swing the election towards a pro-American candidate. The Facebook team that carried out the operation was full of former U.S. spies. On a domestic front, alternative media that challenges both the power of the U.S. government and the status quo has also been targeted, being deranked, demoted, and in some cases even deleted from social media. A 2017 study found that Google search traffic to consortium news fell by 47% after its new algorithm took hold. Democracy Now! Lost 36% of its traffic, the World Socialist website, 67%. And I'll be honest, I enjoy some of these stuff here. I'm not loving every lot of these news sites. However, they have the right to be on platform in good faith. Not all their information is bad. Observe responsibly. You know me. When it comes to government, I'm not even lovey-dovey. So I'm just giving you my input on this. But I'll continue on. Mint Press News was even harder hit, losing more than 90% of our Google search traffic and 99% on Facebook. Our account on Instagram has been suspended multiple times. Links to mintpressnews.com on Reddit are blocked, and TikTok permanently deleted our account. Social media's credibility rests on the idea of its being free and open source of information and communication, but with the forced sale of TikTok to U.S. defense contractor Oracle, oh my goodness, wow. Oracle, wow, man. Talk about Orwellian, right? Wow, man, I haven't heard that name in years. And Twitter being owned by one-time de facto member of Trump's cabinet. This facade is cracking, further undermining this fantasy that our Mint Press investigations highlighting the hundreds of national security state agents pulling the strings at top Silicon Valley platforms. No wonder, then, they are so quick to delete their profiles and hide the evidence. Well, what can we say about that, right? One thing I can tell you, folks, is just it amazes me when you have governmental entities in there trying to dictate, censor, swap, all this technocratic propaganda trying to shove down our throats. It always backfires. You always see that. I do all the time. It doesn't matter who's in there. That's why we got over Trump. But I can be critical of him at times. Yes. However, if people are surrounding him like everyone else, we got to pay attention. Never trust the government. That's an American duty. First priority is never trust them, period. So when you have all these faction slaves out there, they want to put their fist in the air. Oh, I'm going to trust my government. Yep, they're delusional as well. But one thing I love about what's going on, these bastards love dishing it out, but hate receiving. So it's blow back in their face. So I got to give Mint Press props on this. I've read this stuff once in a while, but I admire what they're doing, and I'm glad this has to be addressed to everyone else, because look what's going on. What's going on right now? They're trying to bring technocracy on the rise. They want to use communism, socialism, fascism, don't matter, but be on the same technocratic umbrella. You always got to question that. This including this Orwellian ordeal. Okay, 1984, if you haven't read the book or seen the movie, watch it. It's relevant today. I always recommend to check these out. observe responsibly. And I'm going to hit one more here. This came from biometricupdate.com. Biometrics get AI market lift amid acquisitions, national ID ambitions. Came out yesterday also. It's by Chris Burt. As it reads here, biometrics prospects and valuations are being buoyed by AI and economic conditions, contributing to an environment that could see more acquisitions. A couple of noteworthy examples were among the most read articles of the week on Biometric Update. National Digital ID projects could provide more lists for biometric and digital ID technology providers in the long run, and ambitions from Malaysia to Ethiopia and India to Bhutan show more breadth in those opportunities. So the United States is just one example. This is happening globally. So pay attention to all you faction slaves out there. The problem and the solution. World is pushing back on the Philippines Data Privacy Authority's order that tools for humanity seize and to cease biometrics collection in the country, saying it represents a sudden challenge in interpreting the law after a full year of consultation. The company is appealing the order, saying it does not store, sell, or purchase biometric data. Meanwhile, deep fakes and synthetic content from generative AI video app Sora from World co-founder Sam Altman's better-known venture OpenAI is flooding social media. World argues that 9% of online content will be made by AI a year from now, making the market target for its humanity verification technology very large. National ambitions. Malaysia intends to reach 15 million users for its national digital ID by the end of this year. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim announced during the brief on the budget for 2026, the government is allocating millions of dollars to scale up both users and use cases for My Digital ID, as well as broader digital transformation. Ethiopia is racing to issue its FADA digital identity to 40 million more people by the end of the year, with more registration centers and rural outreach beginning. The hope is to reach 63 million issued by the end of this year, on the way to its target 90 million by 2027. And the UK debate has begun in Parliament over the proposed national ID mandatory for all working people. The news media drafted in representatives of the Tony Blair Institute, the Age Verification Providers Association, Lucidity, Orchestrated Identity, Select ID, CIFT, and YOTI to make sense on the issue. Objections to the scheme and the information that could overcome some of them are clear now if they weren't before. In India, which the Labour government has drawn inspiration from, the UIDIA is looking to stand up capability for deep fake and liveliness detection and contactless fingerprint biometrics within the domestic industry to protect its digital ID system from fraud. To end that, it has launched a trio of challenges for startups, academics, and established industry players. On the other end of the centralization spectrum, Bhutan is migrating its digital ID to Ethereum to gain the resiliency that comes in its highly decentralized nature. Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin was on hand for the start of the SSI system switchover. Expansion for testing and passwordless authentication. Bixi Lab showed off its new large lab facility with robotic testing capabilities, dedicated areas for environmental control, and tools to accurately replicate advanced deepfake and presentation attacks in a webinar. The internationally recognized Biometrics Testing Lab also introduced its recently appointed CTO and shared details on current and future initiatives and engagements. Bixi Lab's accreditations also continue to expand, with Aware passing its first assessment for FIDO face verification certification. Visa is positioning its payment passkeys for growth in several regions. The company has signed its first deal with the payment service provider, who will bring them to e-commerce in the Middle East. The boost in security is expected to increase card payments in India and APAC is already leading in cashless payments. It's APAC. Okay, so just to verify that. All right. An environment for acquisitions. The investment market in biometrics and digital identity remains steady overall, but conditions for acquisitions and stock launches have ripened. Attendees on a recent webinar hosted by Liminal Herd, a representative of Piper Sandler, points to AI and lowering interest rates as M&A tailwinds, while Jeremy Grant of Venable noted that the U.S. government has signaled support for digital ID, if unevenly. The timing point about acquisition is well-timed, with Copernic completing a deal for hardware provider for France. Gives Copernic a network of law enforcement and security customers and country distribution rights for regular and vision metric gear. HID is integrating ID Melons, a portfolio, good grief. I get a little bit too excited, folks, forgive me. Portfolio of passkey and FIDO authentication after reaching an agreement to acquire the Canadian logical access control provider. The move continues a shift towards FIDO for HID and gives its customers an easy path to passwordless authentication with identifiers they already use. And in a cautionary note, people with facial differences like Freeman-Sheldon syndrome are having photos rejected by software, making automated image quality checks. Wired report with face biometrics were used for a growing array of use cases. Alternative methods of verification are a practical requirement if they are to avoid excluding these people. Please tell us if you have any spots, any videos, editorials, or other content we would share with those in biometrics and the digital identity community in the comments below or through social media. Whoa. So when it comes down to it, my friends, is technocracy is at our fingertips, right in front of our faces. A lot of us have been warning for a very long time, and the beginning of the new millennium got too obvious. This is why I always recommend everyone out there start decentralizing. Don't trust these bastards. They're nothing more than totalitarian bawds. They sell their own family just to get power. I can say this for sure. It won't prevail on long term. It will backfire when they least expect it. This is what the one world global order wants. They want to spy on all of us to make us feel safe. There's no such thing as this day and age belling up to the states patriotic or heroic. It isn't. It's delusional. It's enslavement. It's subservient. Always got to look at things a lot bigger than what it is, my friends. I know there's technology out there we can use to counter it via internet, for an example. Things are happening, but doesn't mean we can surrender. It's an exciting time to be alive, so please remain vigilant at all costs. And that will be it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share us throughout your social media networks. Any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you please use decorum. You can hit me via email to ll3-podcast@proton.me. Sorry, I'll leave the footnotes of these articles on my page. And if you want to donate, go to paypal.me or cash.app/look3. If you want to follow me on Steemit, give me a little crypto love there. I'm at LL3-Podcast. You can support activist post, Mint Press, biometric update. That would be very cool. Observe responsibly. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Till next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.